Now that is how you do a movie spinoff as a TV series. BD here, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and in this video, we are going to talk about the first episode of The Penguin, what I thought about it, what I expect to come next, and is Batman going to show up? Warner Brothers and Max were kind enough to send me the full season. I've only watched the first episode so far, very intentionally, so that I could do this honestly, and I think it's going to be fun because this show rocks. If you don't mind subscribing to the channel because we are closing in on 25,000 subscribers. I keep saying it and we're getting closer. Thank you so much. Let's get started. First of all, right out of the gate, the Penguin series is tying to the Batman really well. It showed us new perspectives on the final moments of when Gotham was flooded. It's got the Batman tune playing, bum, 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 bum. And it's all immediately reminiscent of watching Pattinson's Batman movie, Matt Reeves' Batman movie, and this is picking up where it left off with that gritty, practical tone. So much of that opening sequence was practical, or at least it seemed that way, and I'm here for it. And then immediately it just doesn't go into a big, bombastic action sequence. It goes into a conversation. It goes into the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, pulling off some kind of heist, getting some dirt, getting some leverage, which clearly didn't come into play in this episode. He's keeping that literally up his sleeve until later. Very interesting to think about. Really good writing, in my opinion. And he has this conversation with Albert Falcone right out of the gate. Carmine's son. Carmine died at the end of the Batman. Now his son is next in line. Not anymore. Bam, bam. The Penguin is immediately made into a deeper character, at least from our perspective. He's a very shallow, insecure guy. That's not the kind of depth you want to have as a person, but as a character, it makes it entertaining for the audience. We know this guy got laughed at, this guy got made fun of. A very powerful person was standing in front of him. He didn't care. It was enough to make him go, pow, 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 pow. And now he knows he's in some deep stuff because of it. That sequence worked really well for me. I also want to point out the show is not really tying itself to DC Comics lore, but it is incorporating it somewhere less than what it looks like what James Gunn's Superman and that DC universe is going to do, but somewhere more than what Joker Folie à Deux is doing. And I think it works. Like in that story Oswald told to Albert Falcone before he shot him, he talked about Rex Calabrese. Just an Easter egg. Rex Calabrese is a character in comics, ends up actually being a cellmate with Jim Gordon at one point when Commissioner Gordon is wrongly imprisoned for something, gets framed for something, and they end up being so he's like very involved in the Falcone crime ring and all that. Now he's a guy who died when Oz was a kid and kind of loosely plays with the character that was known as the Lion in DC Comics. Never going to be a factor here because he's already dead. I'm all for that. I also think it's cool because with the episodes that got sent out, showrunner Lauren LaFranc sent a letter to everybody who's going to watch it, and in that wrote, despite our very comic book title, like Matt's film, our show reflects back the world we live in, who we take care of, and whom we condemn. We delve into themes involving trauma, masculinity, identity, narcissism, wealth, and class disparity. It's this unfiltered exploration of a broken city and its people that I hope will leave a lasting impression on audiences. This story and this entire experience has certainly left a mark on me. I can tell I think this show is going to leave a mark on me. I think I'm going to really enjoy it based on the tone and the execution of this first episode. But I do think it's cool that Lauren sent that note. This is obviously based in DC Comics roots, but it's not really going into like comic book territory. This isn't necessarily a Penguin as we know him from the pages of DC Comics. We're not going to see like a crazy Mr. Freeze showing up. We're not going to see probably some big giant Bane. I do want to see that stuff. I think it might show up in DC when James Gunn's world, which seems to be extremely comic booky, comes to life. I think there's room for both, or all three, because Joker, I really liked that first movie, and I'm excited to see the second. And now moving on, I want to go to the scene where Oz meets Victor in the streets, shoots at all these kids. It's kind of crazy. He's acting wild. He's acting out of control. His whole demeanor changes when he sees Victor. And I was like, okay, is he seeing opportunity or is he having a moment of compassion? And that sort of thing, that tiny little moment, whether it's Colin Farrell's acting or it's the script or it's both coming together really nicely, those are the nuances that give depth to a story, to a character that the Penguin is loaded with. Also, Lauren said this is based in our real world. That house that Oz went to, that was his mother's house, I mean, which might have been New Jersey, might have just been outside the city in New York or, whatever outside of Gotham is. That is like what it's like walking into your grandparents' house when you grow up in New Jersey. That was a reflection of our world outside of New York City. That was great. I have to shout that out, first of all. And second of all, from that scene, Oz's mom talking to him the way she did was excellently written and executed. I was kind of worried. I was like, no, they're not going to make this like a weird mother-son thing, is it? Like, certainly not healthy, but it never got into that like weird territory where I was like, oh, please don't go there. And they didn't. I didn't want Oz to be in like a weird relationship with his mom like that. And it wasn't. It's just, it wasn't a relationship I want anybody to be in, but it wasn't like some kind of, where I'm going. I don't even want to. But it was an abusive relationship where his mother is bullying him into acting like a bully. And that's where all his insecurities are rooted. And I thought that execution was great. Oz is a hustler even to his own mother. It's just, the character is very interesting. This is how you enrich a character after introducing him in one movie and using a TV show. So well done so far. And then we got Mr. Krabs coming in as Sal Maroni. That's great stuff. Love it. I think it was really interesting, the subtle little moments like Sal saying, I'm not sitting here, I'm sitting there. That just goes to show how Oz is getting so tired of being told what to do, not being the person in control, not being the person in charge. Little things like, that's not my table. And Oz has to get up and move to the table that Sal wants to sit at. Those are building character. I'm really all in, if you can't tell, if you're noticing a theme. And then leaving the ring with him, that he took off the Falcone kid. Now Maroni is like, oh wow, I'm kind of impressed by you, Penguin. The whole thing. Great. And then it goes to the interrogation scene. Seemed like he's going to get his arm ripped off. The grittiness, the gruesomeness, that's what it wasn't even like excessive. It's just so gritty and raw that it feels gruesome even when it's not, because of the acting, because a little bit of blood that shows up on the armpit. Thought it was really, really well done. I mean, hats off to this show. And then boom, car comes crashing in, payback. Oz has now masterminded a war between the Falcone family and the Maroni family, and he's going to probably be the kingpin of it all, and that's what he clearly wants to be. He wants to be the man in control. He wants to take over the city. That's what his mom wants him to do, and I couldn't be more on board to watch this story. I don't want to be involved in the story myself. This seems like a hellish place to live, but really, really a well-done first episode. Tremendous re-entry to the Batman universe, to Matt Reeves' world. And I think Batman probably shows up in this series. I don't think he's going to have a big role, but I think there's a good chance we see Pattinson suited up. And I don't think they need to do a gratuitous Batman cameo. That's what this tone, this quality of show seems to have no interest in doing, and I respect the hell out of that. I think it's going to make sense that Batman will find himself involved and probably be involved in a whole episode maybe. But then again, I know these episodes went out to all of the press and content creators and different people who watched it early, and I haven't seen anything about Batman being in it leaking online. So that makes me go, if all them people saw it and nobody's talking about it, nobody's leaked it, maybe it's not going to happen. You know me, I love a cameo. I loved Deadpool and Wolverine. I love when Marvel throws characters onto Disney+. Every time Wong shows up, I do the Leo meme. But this series seems like it could stand well enough on its own. Immediately has weight and depth and tone and just everything to it right out of the gate in this first episode. So what did you think of the first episode of The Penguin? Rate it out of 10 in the comment section. I think this is like a high 9. I thought it was really, really good. Oz has some depth to him. He's got some vulnerability to him. He's got some unpredictability to him. And he just set off a gang war that has me intrigued to see how this is going to play out in Gotham. And I'm interested in the city more. I'm interested in the characters more. They've thoroughly made me interested in the world building and the characters inhabiting that world in just one episode. The Batman did it. I liked the Batman. I really liked the Batman. I don't know if I liked it as much as everybody else did, but I really did like the movie. And I really, really loved where this went. So I'm interested to see the 10 scores that you guys give in the comment section. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. And maybe we'll do this every week if it's fun. If you guys are watching it and engaging, we'll have a community. We'll start talking in the comment section. We'll see where it goes. If you don't mind subscribing to the channel, I'll see you in the next video.